Cool. So I'm going to give you a short, hopefully short, tutorial on how to use this template. And there's essentially two types of flashcard templates. One with the schedule, as you can see, and one without the schedule. So you can just learn at whatever pace, whichever words you want to. You can pick either one or both. I don't know what works best for you. But we'll first start with the no schedule one, just to give you an overview of the actual flashcards. So when we go to flashcards, this is the database with the whole 500. As you can see, I've ordered them from 1 to 500, and you can also change the order of the characters if you want. Next, we have a cover for the words, the characters, which I made. You can also make your own if you don't like the ones I've made. But remember, there's like 500 of them, and that took quite a bit of time. But yeah. Then we have the actual character in text form, the pinyin, and translation here. You can also change these if you don't like the way I've translated them. And maybe you can add more notes to make it easier for you to remember. Then we have the part of speech. And then here we have the lesson, which is a way to categorize or filter the words. Because we don't have a schedule here. So if you want to learn, like you want to add specific words to like a lesson, you can maybe search first if it's there. Let me just look for this character, and then I can pick which lesson that I want it to be in. Next we have the levels, and this is just to help you better organize your flashcards. So I have 0 to 100, 100 to 200, etc. until we get to 500, just to make it easier to make changes if you are making like bulk changes. Then we have the status, which when you'll get it will start with all of them being regarded as new, and as you review them they'll change according to how you feel, how easy or difficult it is to recall the character and their meanings. Here we have the relation to the learning progress dashboard. So if you do feel the need to add new characters, remember to make sure that they're all linked so they count as part of the 500. And then here we have the answer, and this shows up when you click on show answer. It gives you the pinyin and the translation, and also the part of speech that the character belongs to. You can click hide answer to hide it. If you don't like this pop-up, I also have this here, the visibility, so you can opt to do that instead. So you can just pick show, and then it will show the answer without that annoying pop-up. So if that's what you prefer, that's fine. Next we have the last time you reviewed it here, and then the next review, which will be calculated according to your status and streaks of how often you got the answer wrong. So yeah, that's essentially the flashcard database. Pretty simple, and this is the same for both databases, for both templates. So the next thing I'm going to show you how to do on the no schedule template is how to add characters to a specific lesson. So the first way you can do it is by just going to whatever character, and just picking whichever lesson you want to link to it. For this, let's just say family, which is fine. You can also search for it here as I've shown you before and then change it. But you can also use this button here that I prepared for you, and all you need to do is edit, and then if you're changing like characters that already have existing lessons, then you can filter with that lesson and then replace them with a new one, right? The other thing that you can do is use the order. So maybe you want it to be characters whose order are maybe 1 to 25. So if it's smaller than and including 25. I think I did the opposite. Oh my gosh, my bad. That was me. I'm the dumb one. What happened to maths? Smaller than and including 25. So 25. Okay, and they're all going to be part of lesson 1 greetings. Great. Yeah, there we go. Then the first 25 have been put into lesson 1. So that's how you would use that button. Cool. So now that you know how to add lessons or add characters to lessons, I'm going to show you how you're essentially going to use the rest of the planner. And right next to the table view, we have the learn, where you can essentially just go over all the cards, just learning them. I used the official 500 list, so all of these flashcards are in alphabetical order. So if you really want to mix it up, then I would suggest changing the actual number order to whatever you want. Okay, so back to learning. As you learn, you can just show the answer, hide it, and you can essentially go through all of them. And if you have opened like a lot of them and want to just close them, then you can just click on this button that says hide all answers. Now that you're done studying and learning, you can go to this section here that says today's test, and it should show you characters that you've learned before and graded yourself according to these 4 buttons, and then rescheduled for another date. I think this is called active recall. So those ones will, those words, those characters for the day will show up here. If you want to learn specific words for a specific group, you can filter either with order. So maybe if you want the first 50 words, let me say 10 words, then you can do that. You can also filter by the lesson. So if you only want to do lesson 1 and learn those, then you can do that as well. Let's not forget that if you don't like these buttons, you can just the visibility, I think. You can show the visibility and then use that instead. So you can just click that and say show. Do that instead of using the buttons. And if you want to test, then you can either go here, or I guess I'll have to make a separate one, but just to give you an idea, go to test and then filter by either order. So here I have the first 25, or by lesson. Make sure that this remains the same. This just makes sure that after you've reviewed a character, it disappears from your list of testing. So yeah, let's do an example. This is, I hope I'm saying it right. And I found this pretty good, easy. I know it anyway, so I've mastered it. So I'll just click. Well, let's check if it's right first. Oh, that's hide. My bad. Yeah, that's correct. And I've mastered this. And once I've done that, you can check here in the learning progress that it's been added. And the progress bar counts for only the total mastered ones. And it's also disappeared from my list. But it has been rescheduled for another day, so it'll ask me again some other time. I think this is Guo, if I'm not mistaken. Why do I keep doing that? Oh, yeah, that was pretty good, but I haven't mastered it completely, so let's just say good. And then it's been added here. I think I know this, but I find it difficult. Let's see. Yeah, I always get that one wrong. So that will be difficult. And then when you're done, these words will be rescheduled for other days. Probably you'll see them in today's test. And then you'll test them again until you have completely totally mastered all the 500 words. You can also have this page here that I put in specifically for mobile. So if you just want to do the test on your phone, there's this page where you just get all the characters that need to be reviewed for the day right here in one place. Hopefully it makes it easier for you to just navigate. But yeah, that is how you use this template in particular. You can also, my bad, wrong place. I guess once you're done, you can also add more of them if you want to. That's up to you, but I don't know if that would be wise. It could possibly lag because this database already has 500, so you might need to make a new one. But I think it should be okay for another 500 more. I'm not sure. But yeah, you can filter. And if you're adding them, make sure that it's connected to the dashboard, which is not loading right now, but that's fine. And now we'll move on to the other template, which includes a schedule. And I'll show you how different that one is. For the most part, everything is the same, but I'll show you how to make use of the schedule. Okay, so, alright. Next, I'll be showing you how to use the schedule one. And everything is essentially the same except for the added schedule. And so we'll go right here first. And I guess the first thing you're going to do is add a start date. And the start date has to be on a Monday. If it's not on a Monday, it will just adjust it to the next Monday. So do yourself a favor and just make it a Monday. Mine is for April 14th, which is this week's Monday. Next, we have the list of weeks. These are the adjusted start dates according to the actual start date. And then here you get to pick how many days you want to get. Maybe I should have explained that first, but it's fine. You pick how many days of the week you want to get new words to learn every day. And you can only pick between 5 and 7, as you can see. And then here is where you input how many days you want to learn per day. And that essentially equals your total words, which you need to make sure is equal to your total flashcard count. Otherwise, it's just gonna do something really weird with the schedule towards the end. But I'll show you how to avoid that first. So we have the weeks here, and when you're adding a week, you need to make sure that the week has the actual number in it, so that when it's calculating the start date, let's see, Is it week start date? Yeah, depending on the date, it'll move the days. So week 1, if I remove the 1, the date becomes weird. So you have to put that in there. Week 2 as well. If I remove it, it changes the date. So you need to make sure that the date number, the week number is in here. I think even if you remove week, as long as the number is there, it should be fine. Cool. So now we're going to decide how many weeks we're going to work for. Not work, learn. And to do that, we're going to do a bit of maths. So we have 500 words. And to create a proper schedule, we're going to make the weeks according to factors of 500. And factors are numbers that when you divide into this number or whatever number you're working with, there's nothing left over. So for this one, it's 1, 2, I think 5 is 5 as well, then 10, 20, 25, etc, etc. So there are multiple factors of 500. For me, I would pick, I think the most decent one would be, let's say, 10. So this means that for 10 weeks I'm going to be learning 50 words per week. So this is going to be 10 weeks, and each week I'm going to do 500 divided by 10, 50 words. And I do this so that the schedule is just very even. So let's see, I had 15 weeks before this, but let's just delete them. So 500 words, and I'm learning this in 10 weeks, and it'll be 50 words per week. And when we're looking at the weeks, how this would translate will have to do with how many days per week. So for this one, since it's 50, I think I'll do 5 days a week, and I'll do 5 days a week, and it'll be 10 words per day, and that equals that 50. If you want to do it every day, you'll have to adjust this to maybe 70 divided by 50, and I actually don't know what that is. Maybe 6, 7. I think the closest is 7. So there'll be leftovers when you're doing things, but that's something you can work out. You'll see, it'll be weird. So try to stick to not even numbers, but factors of 500. So we'll do 5, and we'll be doing 10 per day. That equals 50. Now the total flashcard count tells me that I haven't linked 50 words yet, so I need to do that. Let me just take out all of these, and I'll show you how to. So what I've done is created like a learning schedule for the first one, but now since I've updated it, probably do this and then carry on. This is just to help me when I'm adding them to the schedule, but yeah, however you like. So now we're going to add the words, the flashcards, to the week schedule. And for me, I'm going to be using the character order. So I'll use this one. You can do what we did before, which is adding them by lesson. So maybe you want the ones that are in lesson 1 to be on schedule week 2, or maybe week 1. Just make sure you remove that before you add it. So now every character that has less than 2 tagged will be part of week 1, right? That's fine. But I'm doing it according to the order, the actual character order. So what I'll do is I'll be like, okay, if the order is less than 50, should I just say between 1, bigger than 1, less than including 50? And that should be fine. And we're gonna pick week 1 and then click there. Oh, there we go. It was done. It just took a while. But here I go. The 50-50 match. And I'll be doing this for each week. Okay, so now I'll show you how to add the rest of them using button with 2, and then we're gonna do 51 to 100. And as you can see, it's added the next 50, and we need this to get to 100 as well. I think everything else has been added. It is 500. So yeah, that is how we add flashcards to the schedule. So now what will happen is that I can show you. So what will happen now is that every day from Monday to Friday, because those are the days we pick, you'll get new words to learn every day. I picked 10. So these are my words for today. And there's also the weekly words as well. If you want to see them, 10 each day. And the words that we'll be testing each day are your new words and the words that you may have done previously and have been rescheduled for today, which also has a today's test page right here to make it easier to do. But yeah, just make sure that the days per week and the daily words equal this, like the 50 and the 50 with your total flashcard count are equal, because the way it splits up the dates will be weird if it's not the same. So try keeping it consistent and use a factor. But if you think this is a bit too rigid for you, then you can just go ahead and use this one instead, which doesn't have such a rigid learning schedule. Maybe if I can show you an example. So in this schedule, I've decided to do 7 days per week and 5 per word, 5 words per day. So it equals to 35. It's very equal, but if you go down, you'll see that because I'm using not uneven, but non-factors of 500, I'm left with like 25 words, no, 10 words. That should be 500. Right? With 10 words, if I'm dividing, I think if I'm doing 35 words per week, there's just 1 week with only 10, right? And because I was doing 5 words, 5 per day, 5 words per 5 days a week, it would be 25. So I have more than what I would be doing. So it on the schedule, you should find here, it calculates the days, right? So normally it's Monday, Tuesday. See, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. I'm doing 7 words a day. Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, and then the last 10 are then just the next Thursday and the next Friday, because I guess if we had more words, that's where they would be. So that's how it would separate it. But you want it to be on a Monday because it's immediately after a Friday, right? So to just realign it, you'd have to adjust how many you do per week. So if we're gonna do 5 still, and we have 10 words, then to get it to be the same, this would need to be a 2. So now you have 10 words in total for that week, and you're doing 2 words per day. And this is what it will look like on this schedule. So now you'll notice that the last 10 words in week 15 will be 2 for Monday, 2 for Tuesday, 2 for Wednesday, 2 for Thursday, and 2 for Friday. So now it's gone back to the regular schedule with 2, because I guess the numbers are now even. So that's why I'm saying if you're using the schedule, use factors, because it's just easier when we're doing the schedule for new words. So yeah, these are the ones that you'll need to test for today. And every time you answer, I can't remember for the life of me what this one is. Show. I found it difficult, and it's been rescheduled for another day after I have marked it. If you don't like the size of these or think this is annoying, then you can just change it to save the image, and now it's like really big, so you might need to make it larger, which is fine. You can just go back to the image, make it medium or make it small, either way. And here we keep track of how many you have that are difficult, hesitant, good, or mastered. And when you click on the week, you'll have all the words for this week right here, and you can learn and then test yourself if that's just easier. And that's it, really. These are all the 500 vocab words you need for HSK1, and I hope you find them useful.